Alright, hey everybody, welcome back. So I want to go over a few nifty things you can pick up while you're doing volume and panning. Okay, so this is the audio file we worked with last time, the tutorial audio, whatever, that we learned the fade in, the fade out, the cutting, the splitting, removing, that kind of stuff. So now I'm going to teach you a little more fun stuff about the volume and panning. So let's say for this one, I want to change the volume so that whenever the lady talks, the volume in the music dips down so that you can hear the speaker really clearly. But I don't want to have to split and make a new track and change the volume and all that kind of crazy stuff. So I'm just going to show you an easier way to do this. So you click on the track you want. So I clicked on background music because that's the one I want to edit the volume for. And then you press V for volume and watch what pops up. This little funky guy. Okay. Oops. Sorry, I just majorly zoomed out and I did not mean to. Okay. So this guy, I'll explain to you, is the level of volume for this thing. You can see this is the audio file. It's the same thing. So they're connected. And this is the level of volume. Right now it's at a totally set level because we set it down here. Okay. So I'm going to want to make this dip here. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to add points where I can move the line around. Okay. So how I add a point is I shift and I click. And see, now I have a little dot. So I'm going to make a few of them right here. Boom. Now I made 4 for a reason, and I'll show you. Because I want this to stay here, but I only want it to dip when I get down here. Okay. So I could do it like this and have it, this is kind of like a fade out, and then it fades back in. But what I want to do is I want to have it just totally dip whenever they start speaking. So I'm going to put both of these down here. That way it drops in volume, and then it picks back up whenever she's done talking. Okay? So now I have my little audio dip here. Cool. And so you're going to see it's going to sound different than these will. So I'm going to put this cursor here, and we're going to listen to the differences.
I salute you.
See, you could barely hear that. But watch with this next one, since I didn't do that, you're going to still hear the audio consistently through the back.
Superb.
So let's say I just want to do a quick fade in and out. If you right click, you can also create a new point if you want. It's easier just to do the shift click. So instead of having the 4 and the big dip in level, I'm just going to have a fade in, fade out situation where it gets the lowest in the middle of what she's saying. Okay, so now we can listen to the differences between these two. So dips, gone, comes back.
I salute you.
Okay, now this one is going to get quieter and then it's going to get louder, doop doop. And you can see the shape there. I don't know why I had to mimic that for you. Ready?
Superb.
And then the one that isn't edited at all, the background music is just going straight through.
Brilliant.
Cool. So that's pretty much editing the volume a little. I can make it go up at the end. I can make it get quieter at the end if I don't feel like just, fading out like I did earlier. Yeah, so messing with the audio like this gives you more specific edits you can do to the audio to fit whatever you want it to do. So now let's say I want to have the music kind of shift around my headphones, right? So I want to edit the pan, but I don't want it to just only come from the right or only come from the left. So what I'm going to do something similar to this, except instead of V, which if you click it, the volume stuff will go away, but it's still saved there, so you don't have to worry about it being removed once you put the volume bar away. And I'm going to press P for pan. Now you see this one's orange. This is the pan one. You can also see over here that this is the one it is. And you can have the pan and the volume one up at the same time, but I like to have just one up at the same time because it's way easier to look at. So I'm going to insert points the same way I was before, shift click. I'm just going to insert a lot of little points because I don't know what I want yet. I can always just delete points after too, you know. So inserting all my points. Huzzah. Okay. Now let's say I want to start it off centered. Good. I'm going to say I want it here. And then I'm going to dip here and have it down there for a little bit. And then I'm going to go all the way up here. You can see if I like go over a dot, it'll like move it to the next position. So like if I wanted a different beginning, I can move this dot all the way back here and change the beginning a little without messing up everything else. Which comes in handy for me because I'm very indecisive until I'm actually making things. So I'm going to say I'm going to put this centered, and then I'm going to put it back down to the left, and then I'm going to shoot it up to the right. Okay, so we have all sorts of little funky things here. So you can see I entered points, except instead of the volume where it's like the lower it's the quieter, the higher it's the louder, this is the directions. So the bottom is to the right. So you can see at this point it says 100% right, which means that here in this space there's 0% at the left. And here the top is the left. So here's 100% at the left, so there's nothing coming out of the right earbud. So you can change this accordingly. So like I could have like 10% right or 34% left or whatever I wanted. I need to be centered though. Okay, so ready? We're going to listen to what it sounds like now.
I salute you.
Now it's over here. Completely over here. And it's going to go back.
Superb.
Now it's completely over here. It's going to go back.
Brilliant.
One important thing to note is that this is just the background music I'm panning right now. So now it's going to be all the way over here, and then it's going to go to the center and fade it out. So I just mentioned how it's only the background music that I'm panning right now because I'm using the background music pan. So that means that any other audio file in here isn't being affected by this pan, it's only this one. So like the Templar voice that I have is still coming like from both headphones equally. So if I wanted to change that, I could go in here and pan this one too. So I click my P for pan, so you can see this one. It's totally centered. So if I wanted this piece to come like all the way from the left or all the way from the right, I don't know why I keep entering it like that, it's so much harder. I'm going to dip it like this. I'm going to say, actually I'm going to insert another one. I'm going to say, boom, I want this one word to come all the way from the right. Alrighty, we're going to hear the differences.
I salute you.
Totally center. Remember, this one's only going to come from the right, and the music's like on the left side.
Superb.
So you can control the different volumes and different pans of different audios like that. So, for example, I used this in one particular file when I was doing like a beach scene or something, and I had a seagull fly overhead, but it flew from like the back right of the person to the front left of the person. So I did the panning and the volume to like associate that. So when it was to the back right, obviously the pan was like to the right and the volume was lower, and then as it got closer, it got more to the center and the volume got higher, and then the volume got lower and the pan went to the left as it moved to the left of the person. So it kind of helps the player be like immersed in their environment and feel like they're actually there, instead of like if it had a seagull like really far away from me and the volume was the same as the person who's like shouting at me from like as close as my coffee cup is to me, you know, that doesn't feel real. Whereas if this guy's like super obnoxiously loud and I can barely hear that seagull, but I can hear him like fly over the top of me, it'll make me feel like I'm actually there, you know. And not very happy that that guy's yelling at me. I don't know what I did to him, but it's fine. Yeah, so those are some cool things to note about panning and volume. They're going to come in really handy, especially with some of the later assignments. So be sure to practice that a bit, and you can just mess around and try and like practice and understand it. The more you do it, the easier it gets to understand. And then if you want to remove a point, I feel like I should tell you this. You can, so like the shift click is to insert it. If you press Alt and you're like hovering over a point, you can click it and it'll delete it. Okay, so like say I want to delete this guy. Boom, he's gone. Say I want to insert a guy right here. Boom, he's here. I'm gonna move him like all the way up here. Whatcha. And then I'm gonna delete this guy, so I'm gonna do Alt. And delete him. Voila. So like those little shortcuts are gonna help a lot. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Like, I'm always here to help. That's kind of what my job is. So let me know and have fun mixing. Okay, bye.